Let us write a class in C++. We will learn how to write a class. And we will learn all the things in detail about a class, how to define a class, how to create objects, and how to use objects. We'll learn all these things. So let us start. See, this is a four-sided figure. This is also a four-sided figure. And even this is a four-sided figure. So what these are? These are nothing but rectangles. This is example 1, example 2, example 3. This is an example of a rectangle. All these are examples of the rectangle. So we say that these are the objects of type rectangle, instances of type rectangle. Each instance is an object of class rectangle. So can we define a class rectangle in C++? Yes. So what are the properties or attributes of a rectangle? Every rectangle will have its length and breadth. So this is length and breadth, where the length is smaller here. This is length and breadth. And what are the operations that you can perform on this rectangle? So we can calculate area. Calculations are there. See, length and breadth is not calculation, area is calculation. So we say it's a function. We can find its perimeter and so on. So these are the important operations. So let us define a class for rectangle. So I'll start writing a class. Class rectangle. Then what are its properties? Length and breadth are the properties, attributes. So we make them as data members. I will take them of type integer only. Integer length is one data member, comma breadth, but it's better to write in next line, integer breadth. These are two data members. These are the two functions. I can define them here. So one function name is area. It will calculate area. And it will return integer type value, that is area. How to calculate? Return length into breadth. This is an area function. Then for perimeter, I will write a function return 2 into length plus breadth. That's it. I will close this class. So this is the opening bracket of a class, this is the closing bracket, and after the closing bracket, semicolon is mandatory. We should give semicolon. So here is a class for rectangle having two data members and area and perimeters and all. Then let us see how to use this class. So for that, I will write on main function and use it. So here I write main function. Here is a main function, void main I am writing. You can write void main or int main, depends on the compilers. I am creating object of rectangle R1 and R2. So I have created two objects of type rectangle. This is the method of creating a object rectangle R1 and R2. We can observe two things here. First one, I am creating variables. R1 and R2 are variables of what type? Rectangle. See, we declare variables of some data type, integer, float, double, character, like this. Rectangle, is it a data type? Yes, we have defined our own data type. So this class is used for defining our own data type, that is user defined data type. So yes, classes are used for defining user defined data type so that you can declare the variables of that type. So R1 and R2 are rectangle type. So these variables we call them as objects. Now second thing, when we declare any variable inside a function, the variable will occupy memory inside stack. Yes, we know that. Then these variables are also occupying memory inside the stack. How much memory they are occupying? So R1, this is occupying how many bytes? Let us look at here. What are the data members it is having? Length. How many bytes? See, as per our discussion, we are saying length integer is taking 2 bytes. But the compiler that we are using there, it is taking 4 bytes. Just remember this. For my explanation, it is easy if I take 2 bytes. So I can show you many things in detail. So this is 2 bytes and this is also 2 bytes. Functions are also there. No, functions will not occupy any memory space. Functions will not occupy any memory space. Only two data members. So total, what is the size of this class? This is 4 bytes. So if you create variables of this type class, they will take 4 bytes. So yes, this rectangle R1 will take 4 bytes and 2 bytes for length and 2 bytes for breadth. R2 will also take 2 bytes. This is length and this is breadth. That's it. So two variables are created inside the stack. So variables will consume memory of 4 bytes each, but class will not consume. This is just the size of a class. It is just like this is the plan of a house. Area of house is suppose 100 yards. So this is a blueprint on paper. So what is the size of the house? 100 yards. So this paper will not occupy space of 100 yards. But when you construct a house as per this plan, it will occupy 100 yards. So yes, this we are creating a house, constructing a house. This is taking 100 yards and this is taking 100 yards. So imagine like this. Okay, creation of an object is over. Now, can I use this length and breadth? Yes. How to access? I should say R1's length I want to make it as 10 and breadth as 5. So I will say R1 dot length assign 10, R1 dot breadth assign 5. Yes, for accessing the members of this class we have to use dot operators. So using dot operators you can access the members. Now one problem. I cannot access this length and breadth. Reason, whatever you write inside the class, by default it becomes private. Remember this point. By default it becomes private. So I should write everything under public colon. After this, what all is written is public. Now I can access. Unless I say public, I cannot access them because by default they are private. See, one thing you observe here, I am showing you the things when required. So I am taking them in some sequence. Initially also I would have written public and said that this is compulsory. I did not do that. First I tried to access and said it is not allowed. Then you can understand the reason why I should write public there. So most of the topics are like this only. I'll be covering in this fashion only. Okay, so following it bit by bit is more important. In this way, I guess you can easily memorize the things or understand the things. So follow next. I have access length and breadth. Okay, this length is 10 and this breadth is 5. Same way I can do it for R2 also. Its length and breadth I can set them. Now I want to know area. Cout R1 dot area. So whose area will be calculated? R1's area, that is 10 into 5, 50 will appear on the screen. So this area will be calculated. Where is area here in the diagram? We are not showing it. Yes, we don't show because functions will not occupy any memory, but functions will be there along with every object. When you call R1 dot area, whose area will be called? This R1's area is called. So I will extend this one and say this is having its own area function and own perimeter function. Then what about this? This is also having its own area function and its own perimeter function. They both are having their own area and perimeter function. So I just extend this box and say these are having functions also, though they will not occupy memory separately for each object, but I am showing them because they are available for each object. So now whose area is calculated? R1's area is calculated. Now I will access that R2 also. So here I will write R2 dot length assign 15. So I am making this length as 15. There is no space, so I will continue in the same line. R2 dot breadth assign 10. So I will set this breadth as 10. Now I will say cout R2 dot area. So whose area will be calculated? See, this function was called upon this one when I said R1 dot area in this line. Now when I am saying R2 dot area, then area function will be called upon this one. So I get the answer as 150. So as I was discussing in my previous video, suppose this is a design of fingerprint scanner. Now we have two fingerprint scanners. This is having its own functions and data. This is having its own functions and data. If this is a plan of a house and it is having rooms and living hall and other rooms, so each house, two houses are there, we have taken two houses, each house is having its own data and functions, means rooms and living hall and everything. So this is also having its own, and they both are same houses based on same plan. So there is one class and there are multiple objects. You can create n number of objects. So that's it. I'll repeat the things once again. See, this is how we write a class. We define data members and the functions, and we should make everything as public when we want to access everything. Then this is how an object is created. Objects are created inside the stack of this type class rectangle, and who will occupy memory? Only data members will occupy memory. Functions will not occupy any memory. But the function works according to the object. So we feel as if each object is having its own set of functions. So I have just extended, I have shown the functions also. Dot operator is used for accessing the members of an object. We can access data members also or member functions also. Both you can access using dot operator. Now next I will show you how it looks like in the main memory. So I'll remove the class and show you. This is the main memory, and this is the code section. This is a stack and this is heap as the diagram that we are following. See, what is the function we are having? Just main function. Yes, main function. This is main function code. Then actually inside the class we are having two more functions, area and perimeter. Then where they will be? Area and perimeter will also be present here. How many times? Only one time. So all three functions are here. Where is the class? Class definition is not there, just their functions are present here. Functions are present here. Now, when the main function start, two objects are created inside the stack. So R1 will have its own length and breadth. R2 will also have its own length and breadth. And when R dot length, when you said this member is access 10 and this is 5, then when you said R2 length and R2 breadth, then this is access 15 and 10. Then when we said R1 dot area, this line, when we said this one, so this area function is called over R1, and when we said this line R2 dot area, then this area function is called over R2 object. So it will multiply these two and give the result. This time it will multiply these two and give the result. So you can see that a class was having two data members and two functions. So the data member for each object is separate inside the stack, but the functions, there is only one copy. But depending on how you called it, when you said R1 dot area, then this function is called upon R1. When you said R2 dot area, then this function is called upon R2. That's it. These are the internal details of a memory. The next video I will show you how to access an object using a pointer.